So first we're going to talk about recruitment, screening, and randomization. My name is Julie Hunt. It's recruitment. So this is a recruitment and screening plan we put together for the last steering committee meeting, and this just kind of shows the flow of women from the start of recruitment down through randomization. And all of the numbers that we've come up with are kind of estimates on what we think may happen as people recruit. These are just estimates, and you may need to, well, I'm sure you're going to need to adjust along the way. So we're going to be monitoring very carefully, have you monitoring very carefully each week to see what kind of yields you're getting from your recruitment efforts. So in this first phase, the recruitment phase, we're estimating that you might want to mail out about 600 recruitment mailings a week. Assuming that you get a 4 to 5% response rate from that, you might get maybe 25 to 30 inquiries from that mailing. And then from there, from that mailing, those are the women that you're going to contact by phone to screen. And we're going to go into all this in detail, but just to give you a brief overview of the process. You're going to do a screening of those women by phone. The women who are eligible after the phone screen, you're going to mail some materials to, and they will do some additional screening by mail. They return those mailed materials. You pay to enter those, see are they do they continue to be eligible, and if so, you're going to have them come in for the first screening visit. There's additional eligibility that happens at that point, and then there's also a review between the screening visits again that we'll go into, and then there's finally the second screening visit, which is also the randomization visit. That if women make it all the way through there, and that's where you get to the 3 or 4 randomizations per week. So you start out with 600 and you get down to 3 or 4. And again, these are all estimates. They're all just kind of estimated on this 4 to 5%. So for example, when you first start mailing, if you find that you mail out 600 mailings and you only get 1% response, you're going to need to increase those mailings. If you find that you get 10% response and you need more women than you can handle, you might want to tailor it back a little bit. On the other hand, maybe you can handle that and you want to keep up that pace and recruit at a faster pace. That's really, those are really decisions that you can make along the way, but we will help you with that and help you monitor that and make sure that you're recruiting at a pace that means you're going to end up meeting your goals by the end of the recruitment point. So just to start out, the purpose of recruitment is you want to identify the potentially eligible women that then you're going to be able to bring in for more in-depth eligibility screening. So you want to find interested and potentially eligible women, and you're going to contact the study site by either mail, phone, or email. So there are multiple routes. When you send out a brochure, any kind of mailing, you're going to, again, every site doesn't have to do it this way, but we've designed a brochure that has a return postcard that women can mail back, so they can contact you by mail. Your phone number should obviously go on any recruitment materials you have. And then also on the website, there will be a way for women to contact by email. So there's all these routes that women are going to contact you, and then you use that information to then assess eligibility. So the goal is about a 6-month recruitment period to enroll approximately 200 women. So obviously across that whole 6 months, you're not enrolling women every single week. There's that first month where you're going to kind of be mailing, doing the phone screen, all that kind of thing. So it might take 4 to 6 weeks before you actually randomize your first woman. So you have to think about that when you first start. At what point are you going to be ready to start seeing her in the clinic? If you think, July 1st you're going to be able to start seeing women, you might be able to start your mailings before that, so that you're all geared up, ready to go. If you think you're not going to be ready to see women in clinic till the middle of July or something, then you don't want to mail out your mailings too soon, because you also don't want to have 100 women waiting to come in and you're all backed up, and by the time you call them 3 months later, they're lost interest or they don't know who you are. You want to kind of be able to contact them in a timely manner. So the time frame is basically July 1st to December 31st. Again, you can start a little before that if you're ready. And the goal is for each site to randomize approximately 50 women, because there are 4 sites participating in this first intervention. So the primary recruitment method that we're recommending is a targeted mailing, and I know this is something that some of you are familiar with, and some, this is a new recruitment method. This is the method that we use for the Women's Health Initiative, and we're able to recruit 160,000 women in that study nationwide. And so we found it to be probably the most efficient, cost-effective way to enroll, to really reach large numbers of women and to get them into your study. So I'll work, or will work with you individually to help you if you don't know how to get your mailing list together, but there are mailing houses that you can use where you can purchase mailing lists. They're not terribly expensive, but that's something you need to budget for. You can usually, depending on the mailing house, they can really tailor your mailing list. You can say we want women in these zip codes, or households in these zip codes who have women in the household. Sometimes they even have age. Sometimes they have race. The more you divide it, the more costly it is, and the less reliable the information is. But you just have to work with the mailing house and see what they can provide. There are also some of you I know are using lists from healthcare providers or your own health organizations, and so also, or if you have other sources for lists. Again, we can kind of help you with that. There's DMV lists. There's other places that you can get lists, but a purchase mailing list may be your best bet. So when you send out a mailing, and again, these are just recommendations. I know some people have other ideas for how they're going to recruit, but this is our recommendation. Is that you're going to send out a mailing that has a brochure in it. Now this brochure that I put here, this is just a first draft. This is not necessarily how it's going to look. Our color printer printed out a lot, I think, prettier than it's actually going to look. And I think we're going to darken up the print and things like that. And we're still working on the wording, but this is just to give you an idea of what it would look like. So the one side would be the same for everybody, and that just describes the study. There'll be a different one for each study, so this one is obviously for the Recruitment study. The other side is the part that you can customize for your site. So when the printer runs the job, this will be the same for everybody, and then this other side, it has your own information on it. So that information includes the business reply mail address where they're going to mail back the postcard. In the About Our Clinic section, you can put anything you want. It could be, we offer free parking, or we reimburse for parking, or here's the directions, or right off I-5, whatever you want to put there. This is designed to go as a self-mailer, so you don't have to put it in an envelope if you don't want to. So this is where you put the woman's label, you put your mailing information here, and then this is your return address. So if it's a bad address or whatever, it will come back to you here. And then this is the front, and you can put your address, the phone number, whatever on the front. So the second page or back page is basically fair game. Whatever you want to put on here is up to you. Now,
Julie, can I ask a question? This is an example that the brochure itself is going to be large. Right?
Well, it is, and so I brought some of these you can pass around. This is the size for WHI, so this is more like the size that it would be. And this is the kind of cardstock it would be printed on, because you have to print on a certain weight of paper, so that.
Okay. Yeah, my concern too is that the population you're mailing to is probably going to be over 40, and they don't see as well as the folks who designed this book.
Well, that's a good point. We always recommend that you, anything that you design, because you'll be doing some of your own materials, they always use at least a 12-point font, not larger. And this is
Good, okay.
This will be in a 12-point font. It's just I didn't know how to do a color printer on the big paper.
That's fine.
So it's a miniature version. But it's actually this size. You'll see when it comes around that where the postcard is actually perforated, so she can tear it. It shows a little pair of scissors, but you can actually just tear it out.
Okay, great.
And some of you maybe don't want to do it this way. You don't want to have a tear-out postcard, and we can talk about that. If most people do, we'll leave it that way. If you don't, you want to put it in an envelope, you could just do the 3 panels and not have this 4th panel on there.